Hello, thank you for joining me for Cooped Up with the Carter. I'm Megan, a gallery teacher at the Carter Museum. Now today we're going to be talking about Three Friends by William H. Johnson. Now this is a really wonderful screen print by an African-American artist who you probably may have heard of associated with the Harlem Renaissance movement. Now, screen print is such an interesting medium for him to work in because it was a fairly new technology when he made this work in the 1940s. Now, I want you to take a moment to look really closely at this. What are you seeing? Yeah, the first thing that pops out to me are those bright, bold colors. Now, there's not a whole lot in terms of the design. The shapes are fairly simple. There's not much in the background. But that's because William H. Johnson really wanted to use a less formal style that would communicate the kind of informal community he felt in his hometown in South Carolina. In the 1940s, he had returned to the United States after spending several years living abroad in Europe. And that's what you're seeing here, people from his hometown. Now, in this particular work, we have three young girls. Look at them. Do you notice how they're standing the exact same position? Yeah, try that pose. Also, look really closely at their faces. Look at their expressions. It's like they're looking at the exact same thing. What do you think they're looking at? It's hard to tell without the background, but it gives us an opportunity to use our imaginations. Now, I want you to take a moment. Think about how you are with your friends. Are there ever times where you kind of have the same pose, where you dress the same? Yeah, sometimes you get so comfortable with those around you that you all kind of pick up the same kind of movements and mannerisms.
Hi, I'm Christopher Blay, Carter Community Artist at the Carter Museum. Today on Cooped Up with the Carter, we will be making a collage based on Three Friends by William Henry Johnson. Today we're going to create a collage. We will be using paper or any surface that you would like to create your collage on. And the materials are scissors, a pencil, some glue. We have a few materials we can choose from. One option is newspapers. So ask your parents for the old newspapers. We also have junk mail. It comes in the mail every day and sometimes it goes right into recycling. But there are a lot of yummy things that we can use to create collages. We also have magazines. Look around your house and ask your parents for magazines. And we also have recycling. All your empty boxes, cardboard boxes, even your milk carton. If you open it up, we can rip it up and use it for materials for our collage. So, okay, I've assembled all my materials that I've cut out. And what I want to do is to separate these into different colors and tones. And what we're gonna do is basically create a background to work on. So use any of the shapes that you've cut out. And we're looking at not necessarily the shape, but the color and textures. That's what we're looking for, color and texture, to create contrast so that if you put a light color over a dark color, it shows up like that. That's contrast. Okay, so we've cut up all our pieces of paper that we're gonna use. We have some warm tones over here. We have a little bit of earth tones over here. Some cooler tones like the sky, maybe water. And this is darker, maybe nighttime, or skin colors. You have some brown, you have some pink, you have some white and grays and blues, and we have a lot of texture. Some of these have texture, like you can see a little bit of texture in that. Some texture in the green, and even some like color shifts in the dark colors, so they're not all very dark. So when you're cutting out your magazine, look for different shades of a color. It doesn't have to be just a solid color. So pick the different shades of color that you would like to use, and then let's take all this color off and create a base. We're going to create one tone or a series of tones of color for the base of the paper, and that will be the area that you're going to work on top of to collage. So the first thing is to select which colors you want to use for the base. I am going to use a combination of the brown earth colors and a little bit of green and maybe a little bit of sort of the sky color. Okay, I'm gonna start just putting together a background before we get into figures. I want to do a kind of homage to William Johnson, but I don't want to copy exactly what's in the print. I will do 3 figures, and unlike the background you just saw, we are going to make a more dynamic background. We're gonna have some of our warm colors, some of our cool colors, some of our earth colors, and then we're gonna lay the figures on top of it. Now you can make it however you'd like. I don't want to tell you what to make. I just want you to look at these examples and come up with your own collage. Maybe your background is one color. Maybe you have 1 figure instead of 3. Or maybe you go completely the opposite and make a house or a car. But I want you to just combine ideas, and let's just play with the idea of 3s. Okay, there we have it. The complete base for the second stage of the collage. We have our ground. We have the place that we're gonna populate with our figures. So this is my interpretation. Yours will be way better and a lot of fun to create. But we're gonna go to the second phase right now, which is to add the figures. And I am gonna add my figures. First I have to figure out what they're gonna be made of, what material. I have this material. As you can see, if I put it here, it shows up a little bit, but I really want to put it on a background where it is more visible. So maybe my figure is gonna be here. And then the other figure that I'm gonna use is, let's see, this figure. And I'm calling these figures, but they're just the material that I'm gonna use to create my figures. So maybe this goes here, or maybe this goes here. And then the third figure, I'm gonna use, what am I gonna use? I'm gonna use this color. And as you can see, it shows up really nicely over there. They don't look like much right now, but we're gonna do the fun part and create the figures. Maybe put some texture on the figures to make them look kind of cool. That's like a little shirt, maybe. Maybe there's another pattern, and there's this metallic pattern that could be a really cool pair of pants or dress, or this color that goes with that. Okay, there you have it. Using the idea of threes, we have figure 1 moving across the landscape to the figure 2, and over there is figure 3.